Hey guys, I'm Metagross Freak, and if you don't recognize this abomination, you're probably not the Transformers fan you think you are. I've been following Transformers since the Armada days, and back then, this was the biggest Transformer they sold. This was Omega Supreme. I'll transform him during the video. Meanwhile, I'll talk about just the generations in general. The series people are probably most familiar with is the original first generation, or more likely one of the newest ones being either the Aligned Continuity, which is the War for Cybertron plus the new Prime cartoon, though potentially you might even be familiar with the Rescue Bot series, depending on how young your kids are, assuming you have kids. This figure was Omega Supreme, who is a combination of a battleship and a construction crane. He combines into a massive figure, one of the largest I've seen in Transformers. Now I realize there are larger figures like the Transformer Cybertron Supreme Class Starscream, or Unicron, or Primus, or possibly even definitely even the new Metroplex figure that came out only a couple months ago. But at the time, in Armada, this was the biggest figure I had ever seen. This Omega Supreme plays a lot, sorry for all the clicking, good ratchet joints in these hips and legs. I love it. This thing will never decay away. And, this was the biggest Transformer they had made at the time, and it was pretty cool. So here you can see his left arm half with his giant battleship blaster. I'll show you guys the cool features of that in a minute. And here is his construction side, which you can easily just clip them together. They also had doors in the back, so you could slide Optimus in to make a Megaform, basically. I never had that Optimus, unfortunately. I only had Armada Optimus, and I have Dark of the Moon Optimus now. I actually got rid of my Armada Optimus because he was getting older, and he was actually a recolor. He was kind of like this reddish gray. It was really weird. So I got the Dark of the Moon version of Optimus, which has a blaster that turns into an axe. It's not my favorite weapon, but I kept the Armada Optimus weapons so I can use the cooler weapons on the cooler figure. Now, even when you get everything all lined up, it still can be difficult to push them together. But yeah, when you get him together, he is pretty dang tall. And as you can see, the camera here is about, let's see, how tall is that? About half a foot off of the platform. So the fact that he's about, say maybe about 1.5 to 2 feet, is pretty awesome considering he was a 2006 model. Again, really strong ratchet joints in the arms. Swiveling turrets up here. Oop, forgot to push them together in the back. There we go. And then in an homage to the original Omega Supreme, he has this little tiny figure who's essentially a headmaster unit. I'll tell you, I've gotten rid of some of my Transformers, the ones I just didn't like that much over the years, but this one I don't think I'll ever get rid of unless it just absolutely breaks. There we go, you just plug your little headmaster in and flip this up and boom! I am Omega Supreme! This Omega Supreme figure was pretty dang cool. I'll show you some of the features. His individual parts could be turned into these weird construction and battle turret things. So they had these little side cannon things, I guess you could call them, that flipped out. They had them in the front and in the back, so you could have handles for holding on to whatever turret you had, though I just like to flip out the front ones to have torso cannons, though it does look kind of awkward. You had full swivel on these turrets. This turret up here does have rockets. Here, I'll fire a couple in the back. That was put in wrong. There we go. Fired rockets. Anyway, after Generation 1 came Generation 2, and Robots in Disguise, and Beast Wars, and all the other Beast Wars continuities, and then Armada, and then Energon, Cybertron, then started the Michael Bay series and the animated series, which were going side by side, Animated ended, Prime started, Michael Bay's series keeps going, and they started Rescue Bots. That is a brief history of the Transformers series. One thing I really like about him is he has this huge, like, power sliding punch function with his huge claw. I think that's awesome. With its giant grippers. There was also a lights and sounds gimmick, which I'll show. Which, if you pressed this button when you had batteries in, it would light up and make sounds. Which, if you recognize it, the sound effect they used was actually the same they used for a Star Wars figure for Episode 1. They had this device that was basically the Jedi walkie-talkie that Qui-Gon Jinn uses in the movie, and one of the sounds it could make was a blaster sound that sounded identical to it. Sorry for staring at my chest for a bit, guys. Right, yeah, so look how big this thing is. This is ridiculous. Let me grab a ruler. Okay, so this ruler's a foot. And this thing is, let's see here, straighten this all out. Yeah, this thing is about 15 inches tall, which is pretty dang big for the time. I think possibly the only Transformer that was of similar size could have probably been the Unicron they came out with. So this was literally the biggest single figure for the Autobots. Alright, so if you're as nostalgic as I am about Transformers, let me know your favorite figure. It can be from any series, though if you're going to use a series before Armada when I came in, please list what series it came in so that I can better learn the series. I'm only really familiar with Armada and later on. I didn't have everything, but this is what I know. So yeah, if there's a Transformer series that you particularly liked, please tell me in the comments, and if there was a figure you loved, please tell me about it, and if I have the figure, maybe I'll show it. Until next time, I'm Metagross Freak, and thanks for watching.